praises and double honors due to Yahweh by Hashem HaMashiach Omelach Yehoshai. Right? All praises to the Most High for another mighty Sabbath. We're going to dive right into it. Today's lesson is practical knowledge. Right? But to be a little bit more specific, life situations. Because sometimes brothers may not know how to handle themselves. Brothers may not have the wisdom, nor have the understanding of how to apply the precepts being in that said situation. Right? We have a list of situations, right? How to get a job, how to deal with your spouse, how to do X, Y, Z, everything in between, pretty much. Because of course we can go into the breakdowns, we're going to go into history, right? We can do all those things, but it's also imperative to understand the basic knowledge as well. With that, you can go to the class of Ephesians 5:15.
It's the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, and verse 15, and it reads, "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise."
But as what?
But as wise.
Right, so you have to be wise in this thing. You have to be prudent. You have to understand how to maneuver and how to navigate, if you understand what we're saying. So with that, you can go to Sirach chapter 34, verse 10.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 34, and verse 10, and it reads, "He that hath no experience knoweth little."
Right? If you have no experience, you're not going to know too much. I don't want to get my knowledge and wisdom from a man that has been through no affliction, from a man that has no financial issues. I don't want to get my advice from you, right? I will get my advice and understanding from an elder, from an older brother that's been through a lot, right? Been through a lot of war situations, that's been through a lot of marriage troubles, right? Provided that he's using wisdom to dig himself out of those situations. That's the person I don't want to get my wisdom from, get some understanding from. You can read that again, King.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 34, and verse 10. "He that hath no experience knoweth little."
Right? So that goes for brothers as well. Don't reach out to that brother that just came to the truth. You ask him, what should I do in my marriage? He just came to the truth. He doesn't know, brother. He doesn't know. Don't ask him. Stop it. He's going to leave. Just get another one. You can't do that. You can't do those things. Go ahead.
"But he that hath travailed is full of prudence."
But he that hath travailed, he that hath traveled, he's full of prudence, right? He that experienced a lot of things in his life, in his walk, because that's what this truth is. It's a walk. You go to 1 Corinthians 9 and 24 about sure. This truth is a walk in itself. Right now, on a physical level, right? He that traveled throughout the world, you're going to gain your wisdom and understanding. That's facts. How do you think Paul knew so much? He traveled. He went all the way to Spain. He went to Tarshish. All the way to Bulgaria, to Asia. He traveled on boat going to Crete. He went all throughout the lands. You got it.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 9, and verse 24, and it reads, "Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run, that ye may obtain."
You have to run so that you may obtain. I want to speak to the brother that's been in this race for a long time. That's the person I'm going to reach out to. Right? I'm not going to reach out to the brother that just found out he's an Israelite. And he's still smoking weed. He's still beating his baby mama. And he don't feed his cat. And he don't show up on work on time. And he always losing the top of the milk carton. The top of the milk thing. I don't want to talk to that brother. What knowledge can you give? You don't know how to tie your shoes. You get mad at everybody that talk to you. You're just being a kid. That's imprudence. So you can read that again.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 24. "Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run, that ye may obtain."
So you have to run that you may obtain. And the last time I checked, when we come into this truth, don't we start as babes? Does a baby know how to run? I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it. Have you seen a baby run or not? And he says, Ezekiel, have you seen a baby run? Nah, me neither. I have never seen a baby run in my life. So why in the heck would I get my knowledge from a baby? Not to say that there's nothing wrong with being a baby, because of course, you're going to have to grow, receive wisdom, and get nurtured in His Word, and that's beautiful. That's a beautiful process. We're not knocking that. The point is, being in this truth and being in this race, you have to be wise in who you seek counsel from. I got two more precepts. You can bring out 2 Kings, chapter, slide here, 1 Kings. You can bring out 1 Kings, chapter 2, verse 1.
So 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 1. Now the days of David drew nigh, that he should die. And he charged Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth.
Wait, what'd he say?
I go the way of all the earth.
So he been throughout the land. He been some places. You know, as elders may say in this world, they may say, I spent a lot. I've been grabbing on the toilet longer than you. I've been around. And that's true. But just because you've been around, there's a lot of components to being wise and being fit to give instructions and wisdom. Because you can be an old fool. You can be around the block, you've been on the toilet longer than us. That don't mean you know how to wipe. That don't mean you know how to wash your hands. All right. Hey.
Yeah. Wow.
See that?
I got some precepts.
Hey, because if you understand what I'm saying, Jake, they say, man, I have multiple relationships. Okay, what does that mean? Did you treat her right though?
See that?
Did you give her flowers, tell her you look pretty? Like, nah. So, you got experience of nothing. With that, I want to continue. You can read from the top again.
Book of 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 1. No. Book of 1 Kings chapter 2 and verse 1. Now the days of David drew nigh, that he should die, and he charged Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man.
He said, show thyself a man. This is how you become a man, right? Not by picking up 10 guns and a Glock and a Smith & Wesson, right? That's not how you become a man. Go ahead.
And keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments, and his judgments, and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses.
Yeah, that's how you be a man. You keep the commandments. You keep the charge.
That's right.
Every man, every child or kid or boy, he becomes a man when he hearkens into his father and applies what was taught. You can bring out Proverbs chapter 4, verse 1.
So, book of Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 1. Hear ye children the instruction of a father, and attend to know understanding.
And attend to know what?
And attend to know understanding.
You have to know understanding. Go ahead.
For I give you good doctrine, forsake you not my law.
He said, I give you good doctrine. I got one more. You can bring out Sirach 19 and 24.
So, book of Sirach chapter 19 and verse 24. He that hath small understanding and feareth the Most High is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High.
So you have to know where you get your wisdom from. You have to know. Because again, you can be that guy that says, well, I know how women are. I know, brother, trust me. But still isn't married. Still doesn't have any kids. Still living in his mother's basement. Right? And he's 45. He's pushing 50. I know woman, brother, just trust me. No! I'm not trusting you. It's not happening. Then you got it, King.
I just wonder, you can pull up, or you're not on your computer, but brothers can pull up the etymology of practical. I just went into the etymology. And what does it mean to be practical? It means practical or practical, early 15th century, of art pertaining to matters of action, practice or use, applied. All earlier practice, dealing with practical matters applied, not merely theoretical or a method. So yeah, that's what it means to be practical. To basically to apply wisdom that pertains to a matter or actions. know. Get Proverbs 1 and verse 3.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 1 and verse 3. To receive the instruction of wisdom.
To what?
To receive the instruction of wisdom.
And that's the first thing that you do when you repent and come back to the Lord. You start to receive the instructions of wisdom. And it say in the scriptures, a wise man will be instructed. So you have to be instructed. You can't be proud and be like, you can't tell me what to do. You can't come to the Lord that way, man. It says in the scriptures that the Lord resists the proud, but he gives grace unto the humble. You understand? So, yeah, bring it out.
To receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity. To give subtlety to the simple.
To get what?
To give subtlety to the simple. To the young man, knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear, and will increase learning. And a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels.
And that's what it means to be practical, to obtain into these wise counsels that's written in the scriptures. So we know how to handle a matter. That's how you be practical. That's how you move in wisdom. Right? Get Sirach 38.
24.
38 and you can start at verse 1, I believe.
1. Okay. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 38, and verse 1.
39 and verse 1.
39. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 39, and verse 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies. He will keep the sayings of renowned men.
He will what?
He will keep the sayings of renowned men.
That's what a wise man will do. He'll know how to operate in practical wisdom, to apply certain scriptures to certain matters, to know how to handle a matter. You know, not all matters is life and death, and that's what the scripture is telling you and teaching you. Right? You got it.
And where subtle parables are, he will be there also. He will seek out the sentences of grave sin. He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences, and be conversant in dark parables. He shall serve among great men, and appear before princes. He will travail through strange countries, but he hath tried the good and the evil among men.
And that's how we got to be as a wise servant. We got to try the good and evil amongst man. And we got to know how to handle certain situations. And case in point, we're going to give an example. Get Exodus 18 and verse... Go to verse 13.
It's the book of Exodus chapter 18 and verse 13. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood by Moses from the morning until the evening. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all the things, all that he did to the people, he said...
So Moses was judging the whole nation of Israel. Every matter, whether it was small, whether it was great. And that's what made Moses like a king, because that's what kings do, you know. But his father-in-law, what did he see? He said, hey, something wrong, something going on. Did Moses buck up and say, hey, you don't know what the hell you talking about? You know, the Lord sent me here, you being a hater. No, let's see what he said.
He said, what is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone, and all the people stand by thee from morning unto evening? And Moses said unto his father-in-law, because the people come unto me to inquire of the Most High.
So Moses was doing a great thing. He wanted to help the nation of Israel. But it was too much. And his father-in-law saw that it was too much for him. Right, bring it up.
Verse 16, when they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another, and I do make them know the statutes of the Most High and his laws. And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, the thing that thou doest is not good. Thou wilt surely wear away, both thou and this people that is with thee, for this thing is too heavy for thee.
Sometimes you got to apply practical knowledge and see what is too heavy for you. As the scriptures say, prove your soul and see what is evil and good for it. You know, something that a brother may be doing, it may not be, it might be too much for you. A brother might be fasting 3 times a week. You got to be practical. You got to understand that maybe it's not meant for you to fast 3 or 4 times a week. You're not on that level. That's using practical wisdom. Knowing that, hey, a brother might read a book every week. Maybe it's in your spirit to go 5 to 10 chapters a day, or 3 chapters a day. But still study and still pray, and you might still teach your rib, but you got to go based off your practical wisdom and knowledge, right? You got it.
Verse 18. Thou wilt surely wear away, both thou and this people that is with thee. But this thing is too heavy for thee. Thou art not able to perform it thyself alone. Hearken now unto my voice. I will give thee counsel, and the Most High shall be with thee. Be thou for this people to Godward, that thou mayest bring the causes unto the Most High. And thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and shalt show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear the Most High, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, and rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s. And set them judge, and let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee. And that thou shalt do this thing, and the Most High command thee so, then thou shalt be able to endure, and all this people shall also go to their place in peace. So Moses hearkened unto the voice of his father-in-law.
No, he didn't listen to his father-in-law.
So Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law.
No, he said, I know what's going on. I know how to rule this people that God gave me charge of.
So Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law.
Because it was practical, and it actually helped him. If it wasn't coming from a space of love that his father-in-law to help Moses, I'm pretty sure the Lord would have put it on Moses' spirit. So you gotta understand, as brothers, a brother may see something that's good for you to do. You know, you gotta be practical and be like, yeah, that's wise, and what I can do and how I can use this in my walk. And that's what his father-in-law did. He applied something. He applied his experience and his wisdom, and gave Moses practical knowledge on how to operate and how to not worry himself. You understand? So I just want to bring out a few more. Get Sirach 30 and verse 2 and 32. So that example, that can be something that you may apply to your walk in this truth. A brother might come to you and like, okay, brother, I see that you're doing this and that, but hey, it may be too heavy for you. Maybe you need to be doing this and that. Well, brother, you going on the highway 7 days a week, but brother, you might have to read. You might have to study. You know, I study with you. We can still go on the highways, but look, you just doing that. You're not doing enough, right? Get that.
You said Sirach 30?
Sirach 20 and 32.
So the book of Sirach, chapter 20, and verse 32, and it reads, necessary patience in seeking the Lord is better than he that leadeth his life without a guide.
So necessary patience in seeking the Lord is better than he that live his life without a guide. And what does that mean? Like certain people, they live their life without a guide. There's no practical wisdom in what they do. They just go based off with how they feel and how they operate their life. But that's not how we're supposed to be in this truth. We gotta have a guide. We gotta use these practical sayings, these wise sayings that's found in Proverbs. That's a practical book. Sirach is a practical book. It's how you handle your life in life situations. Whether that's how you carry, how you rule your household, order your household, how you order your spirit, whether that's how you operate at work. The scriptures got all manner of scenarios, ways on how to operate in this truth and at work in the world. You understand? So I just wanted to bring out those scriptures. Brothers got more.
You remember got Ecclesiastes, chapter 10, verse 10.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10 and verse 10. If the iron be blunt, and he do not whet the edge, then must he put to more strength, but wisdom is profitable to direct.
So when you read the scriptures, when you read the scriptures, a lot of examples are going to be based off real life, right? So let me pull up the account of Ecclesiastes 10 and 10, or an example of it. Because for those who may not know, when you have a sword, and even in the ancient world, should it be dull or peradventure it's getting to that point where it just needs to be sharpened, there's a profitable way to sharpen it. There's the easy way, and then there's a hard way. So you can read that again.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10 and verse 10. If the iron be blunt, and he do not whet the edge, then must he put to more strength. But wisdom is profitable to direct.
That's what it's called. It's called, you have something called a whetstone. I have to think about it. You don't just sharpen a knife like they do in the movies, get a rock.
Welcome to the workshop. I'm Josh.
You don't do that. That's what a caveman does. There's a profitable way to do it. Now, there was a Jake doing it. I would have to find it. But it's an actual skill and technique, which is actually kind of mighty. Let me pull it up real quick.
And that's the thing about the scriptures. The scriptures show you the proper way to operate in life, man. Whether it's simple or whether it's a great matter. You know, that's all I was saying. And this right here is an example how the scriptures, because the scriptures say that the word of God is a sword. And you got to sharpen that sword, man. You got to have the word of God on you, equipped. Right? You got it.
That's right. I'm going to play this quick video.
Nice and sharp. Today we're going to be going over everything you need to know about repairing your knives at home. And repairing your stone soaking, you'll see like air bubbles start down.
So check this out.
Stones.
He has these whetstones.
When you soak in water at first,
and I'm going to get to the point.
you'll see like air bubbles start to form, and you want to basically wait till all the air bubbles have settled down. That's when you know your stone is, those are with you, because I left it in water overnight. Make sure that I don't miss it, and every time it catches, I know that's exactly where a chip in the knife is. So I want to make sure that I see.
So he knows where the chip is in the knife. And sometimes you got to know where the chip is in your life. You got to know, well, damn, I feel like I'm doing everything right, and I keep slipping. Why do I keep slipping? That's that saying, what's my chink in the armor? What am I tripping on?
And inspect and make sure I'm aware of where all the chips are so I don't miss anything when I grind.
See that? He said, I have to inspect this sword. I have to look at it and examine it and analyze it. Make sure there are no chips. The same way with your life. You have to examine yourself and make sure there's no chips.
Find it out. The paper test shows that this has microscopic chips. Obviously, there's some that's very noticeable.
And that's deep. Hey, this is actually really deep when you think about it. You look on the outside, like, ain't nothing wrong. I'm not doing nothing wrong. When you really zoom in, you're like, damn, I got all of this stuff on me. Yeah. I didn't even know I wasn't that sharp. I didn't know that.
But there's a lot of little ones all along the edge, so I want to make sure I don't miss any of that when I grind on the rougher stone. A lot of times people try to sharpen the knife and fix the knife in one shot, but I always say it's best to think of it as two separate processes. So the first thing we're going to focus on is just grinding out the chips. For that, I'm going to use the rough higher stitch left side fix around the handle. For here is a double bevel knife, which means that I have to sharpen and grind both sides. This particular knife is sharpened symmetrically, so I want to make sure that I grind the same amount on both sides to keep everything even.
To make it all even, can you bring out Proverbs 11 and 1? You can't just, see this and say, oh, it's just a sword video. What does this do with the thing? Well, even the animals can teach you stuff. You can't just look at this and say, well, this is folly. I mean, if you think of it like that, you're not going to learn nothing in life. Because you can bring that out, and then you can bring out Proverbs, I'm going to get it. You can bring that out. Proverbs 11 and 1.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verse 1. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight.
Read that one more time.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 11, and verse 1. A false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight.
Right. It's beautiful and just in the eyes of the Lord to be well balanced and symmetrical, even as a knife. You can bring out Job 12 and 7. You have to learn from everything in life to the best of your ability. You will never know when the Lord's trying to teach you something. You got it.
It's the book of Job, chapter 12, and verse 7. But ask not the beasts, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air, and they shall tell thee, or speak to the earth, and it shall teach thee.
And it shall teach thee. Go ahead.
And the fishes of the sea shall declare unto thee.
Right. And so you may have prayed the Lord for wisdom, and he always has that same squirrel running across your house. Like, why does that squirrel keep running? And you see he's going back to his house with nuts. You probably just think that's nothing. But in all reality,
It's gonna leave.
I mean,
That's it. It's gonna leave.
yeah, it's gonna leave. That don't mean nothing. That's just folly. In all reality, that's the Lord telling you, hey, you gotta move like this squirrel. You gotta get your life together. You gotta get your money together. Whatever the case may be. And so that's what a wise man will do. We're trying to get Israel to tap into the mind of how to navigate in life and how to be circumspect. Because a wise man will fear in everything. And when a wise man hears the saying, he will add thereunto. Did you have anything?
I had a few precepts. What you had said too. Psalms 139 and verse 23. Because if you always looking inside out, you will never see what you doing. Because it's saying in the scriptures that our heart is deceitful and wicked above all things. So like you might not see the stuff that you do. You might not think of it as bad. Your rib might tell you, hey, you do this, you do that, I don't like that. You can't be prideful and be like, look, I know what I'm doing. I didn't do nothing wrong. You gotta be able to examine yourself and understand that you gotta look outside in, how people view you sometimes. Right? You got it.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 139, and verse 23. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts.
So why is David saying this? Did he not search himself? Wasn't David one of the most righteous kings? Why is he still asking the Lord to search him? Because he may be doing something that he may not know. Presumptuous sins, hidden sin. He may be moving a certain way that he's not supposed to operate. And King David, he was known to move well and very well ordered. To the point where even when he didn't have a problem with King Saul had a problem with him on how he moved. That show you how powerful your actions are and how powerful you can move, how carefully you can move, strategic. And not just using practical wisdom. Right, you got it.
Verse 24. And see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting.
And that's what you got to ask the Lord. Search me still. Even though I search myself on a daily, still search me. Have your brothers. Hey, brother, I ask brothers all the time. Critique me. If you see something I'm doing, let me know. And that's how we got to carry ourselves. Right?
Come.
I had one more, too.
It's the let me back off that. First Samuel 18 and 14. Because the brother mentioned that David moved wisely. And every brother want to be like David. But they only want to be like David in a mighty sense, and beating people up in warfare. The Lord taught my fingers to fight. That's the only thing you know from David, is knowing how to fight.
And the thing about David, real quick, he wasn't just about war. He was very diplomatic.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about a lion. Lion don't want to fight because it know that the power that it got. The lion only fights when it's a threat. You understand? So you got to understand David.
Hey, David was a man of the people.
Exactly.
You know, to the best of his ability. And even when you read in 2 Samuel, the 6th chapter, he brought out the flagons of wine and flesh. You know, he gave it to the people. He didn't beat up the people and taught them how to fight and have taekwondo classes. You know, so you got to be practical in how you move. You got it.
It's 1 Samuel chapter 18 and verse 14. And David behaved himself wisely in all his ways.
No, like a dummy.
In all his ways.
In all his ways. That means when it came to being diplomatic, having counsels, dealing with his household, you know, if you understand what I'm saying, right? that goes into all things. He behaved himself wisely. And I was thinking about that at work yesterday. You know, because for an example, it was some people behind me and it was loud. I was about to tell them, can y'all be quiet? You know, I wouldn't have been wrong, but you know, in my setting, there's a proper way to do it. But in my specific setting, I was gonna say some not so kind words, really.
Yeah.
And I looked around a little bit, and you know, lo and behold, it was my so-called bosses. You know, and it would have been a look too good if I just told them to shut the hell up. Hey, can y'all shut the F up?
Yeah.
They would have said, oh, what's going on? Who are you talking to? You know, so you gotta behave yourself wisely. That's just life. That's what Paul did. You know, Paul called Festus, O most noble Festus. He dealt with Agrippa in a wise manner.
He didn't have to do that.
He didn't have to. Paul could have just started cursing. Just start throwing up curses.
They was heathen. They was Edomite, man.
Just nasty heathen men. But he behaved himself wisely.
God.
And so, you know, all these attributes, these skills, these qualities, these examples, you have to apply it unto thine heart. That's what it's saying in Proverbs 22 and 17, which we'll get later. But I just wanted to bring out it's like your 1 Samuel 18 and 14 one more time. Down to 16.
Book of 1 Samuel chapter 18 and verse 14. And David behaved himself wisely in all his ways, and the Lord was with him.
And the Lord was with him. Go ahead.
Wherefore, when Saul saw that these behaved himself very wisely, he was afraid of him.
He was what?
He was afraid of
And
him.
he was afraid of a man that moves wisely. Because when you're dealing with a fool, you don't got nothing to fear. You're going to fall into his own folly. Scripture say that. You dealing with that loud mouth at work, you know you're going to get fired. And you know you're going to be in a secure position. You don't got nothing to worry about. But that man that's diligent, on time, every day, he's fighting to keep that job. That's going to have to make you work hard just as hard. Damn, hold on, I can't let him outshine me. Damn, this Edom might come in 10 minutes early. Come in 11. Not to say you got to give your life unto Esau and to work. But the point of the matter is, you have to understand your surroundings and be circumspect when it comes to work, family, even walking down the street.
Yeah. But then a brother might be like, hey, this job don't matter. You know, I can get a job anywhere.
I get a job anywhere.
Anywhere I can get a job.
McDonald's hired.
But look, brother, you got to keep a job, man. You got to provide for your house, as the scripture say.
Yeah.
You can't just provide for your house 6 months out the year, man. You can't be that way. Brothers got families, even yourself, you as a man of the Lord. Paul said we have to work, man. If you don't work, you don't eat.
Mm-hmm.
So don't just have that mindset of, I can just get a job whenever I want. Like, no, you got to keep a job, and that'll be on your record. Some jobs wouldn't hire you.
Yeah.
You keep getting fired because you don't know how to operate. You understand? So let's get Psalms 101 and verse 4.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 101.
You can start verse 1, actually.
And verse 1, and it reads, I will sing of mercy and judgment unto thee, O Lord, will I sing. I will behave myself wisely and in perfect way. O when wilt thou come unto me? I will walk within my house with a perfect heart.
So you got to know how to behave yourself. A lot of brothers in the truth ain't the truth, but they don't know how to behave themselves. They don't know when to say, not to say things. They just saying things. They speaking when the elders talking. They walking in rooms they're not supposed to be walking in. They opening people's house doors they're not supposed to be opening.
Right.
They opened up cabinets in your house. They not even supposed to be opening up them cabinets. They sleeping in beds they're not supposed to be sleeping in. They don't know how to operate, man. You got to operate in your house in a perfect way. And that house, not just a literal house, that's talking about your spirit and your house, your temple, man. You understand? And that's in all manners, because, hey, as a king, we got to be a nation of kings and priests, so we got to have judgment. And judgment is not just a big thing. Brothers think judgment is when it's a council going on, it's a big council. So-and-so committed adultery, or so-and-so was doing this and doing that. Now we got to talk to the leaders of the camp. No, judgment is in all things. Judgment is the way how you operate and how you walk in all matters. Like when you read in in Corinthians where they was like going to the law before the saints. See if I can pull that.
1 Corinthians.
Yeah. 1 Corinthians 6. But I think it's more on Psalms 101.
Yeah, it is. You want to keep reading?
Yeah, you can keep reading that. Sure.
Psalms 101, verse 3. I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me.
And that's how you gotta be. That's using practical wisdom too. I hate what the scripture say. I hate those that turn aside.
Mm.
And I will not look at any wicked thing. You understand? A brother might be like, look, you can look at a woman. It's not a sin to look at a woman. It's not a sin. You know. But look, using practical wisdom, I don't have to look at every woman that I see.
That's right.
I can turn my head and look and not look at a great woman. You know, that's going to keep me from the distractions that Satan has for me.
That's right. That's right.
That's using practical wisdom. I'm not gonna. I hate the works of them that turn aside. So I'm not gonna be with a brother that fell out the truth. That brother he's still in his thing a little bit. He still know the name of the Lord, but he's out the truth. He's not keeping the Sabbath no more. But you still hanging with him. You can't. You gotta hate the works of them that turn aside. Well, he's my friend in the world, but he's here in the car with you and he's rolling up. He's rolling up a wood, a blunt, man.
Saying Shalom. His lips are
But he
black.
He knows Shalom.
Yeah, he knows
He can
Shalom.
get the truth.
Yeah, you know. He said he ain't waiting.
Like, you can't be that way, man. You gotta have practical wisdom, man. Right? So you can get that in 1 Corinthians 6.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 6. You want me to start at verse 1?
Yeah.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 6 and verse 1. Dare any of you having a matter against another?
And that's judgment. A matter against another. That's why you had small and great matters. It wasn't just great matters. It's small and great. You gotta understand that. You gotta.
Go to law before the unjust and not before the saints?
Right, so we can go and rebuke the Israelites that's in sin that don't know they're Israelites, but we ain't rebuking each other. And we can't be that way. Right? We only want to rebuke when it's a bad situation to happen. No, that's not only rebuke. Rebuke is love. So maybe a brother may not be operating in the fruits of the spirit, and you tell a brother, look, brother, you're not operating in the fruits of the spirit. And that brother has to understand, okay, that's correction. Maybe I need to examine myself better. It's not always an attack when the brother tells you about yourself. Right, you got it.
Do you not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world should be judged by you, are you unworthy to judge the smallest matters?
Right, and that's using practical wisdom because, you know, in small matters, which is at work, at home, outside. Our parents taught us, use your quiet voice out when you in public. You understand? Or when you in a building, sloppy. When you're in a building, use your quiet voice. You don't just go into a library and just be loud and obnoxious. You don't do that because you know that that's not the certain place to be that way. Huh? You got it.
Colossians 4 and 5.
You can bring that out.
Real quick, precept on that.
It's the book of Colossians, chapter 4 and verse 5. Walk in wisdom towards them that are without, redeeming the time.
So that's practical knowledge to know that everybody in this world don't have wisdom. So I can't be a certain way to everybody. I have to be more caring and more, you know. So not saying I'm not caring to everybody else, but I gotta not be playing with everybody besides how I would play with my brothers, because people don't have wisdom as we would have it. That's practical knowledge, you know.
A brother don't want to listen to you, like, okay, brother, you a 2/3 brother. But you don't know, brother. You know, that's not practical wisdom, because guess what? A brother, he might not be listening to you at that point, but he might come to the truth eventually. You don't know. You might be a 2/3, he might be 1/3. You don't know. So hey, you got it, bro. You got it. You got a point.
Proverbs 1:10.
Proverbs 1:10.
Practical knowledge.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 10. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. If they say, come with us, let us lie in wait for blood. Let us lurk privily for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and whole as those that go down into the pit. We shall find all precious substance. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast not a lot among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, walk not thou in the way with them.
What the Lord say?
Walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from their path.
Right. So this practical knowledge that wisdom give us to, not walk with sinners. You know what I'm saying? Don't be enticed by the wicked deeds that they may try to entice you to do. You got to refrain your foot from those paths and those ways. And that's just practical knowledge. And that's actually, like the board said, that's a life situation. Every brother in here probably have been told by a friend, hey, come do this, or come try this. And wisdom telling you playing upon the tape, and look, no, don't do that. If they say, let's go slide on such and such, let's go see what this new drug about, or, try this shrimp. It can be any folly, any madness. That's a life situation where you got to use practical knowledge and know, like, okay, that's wrong. I'm not rolling with you.
The main example of that is Boys in the Hood. He was in the car with, what's the main character? Trey, but his name, his real name, Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah.
When they was in the car, they was all upset. He just said, the spirit just told him, let me out the car, let me out the car. And he got out, and they got into a shootout after that,
See, driving out with a bold fellow.
He could have stayed there and be like, look, we just gonna be angry in the car, I'm be with them, they killed my brother, it is what it is. No, he just said let me out, because he knew what they was going to do.
So like,
But I gotta,
I had basically what's the name quick too. It's Matthew 25 and verse 7. It says you can read it for me because you're in the microphone. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 25 and verse 7. It reads, then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And this is a practical knowledge. If you understand this parable, this is that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that they have. As the men of God, we have to be able to go through our knowledge and understanding and trim our lamps, and basically put out folly and get everything gathered together in order and practical knowledge and basic order. Or you're gonna have a whole lot of stuff clustered up, and you're gonna be basically juggling around where you're trying to go. So if you trim your lamp, you understand, you'll be able to get the oil that's burnt. You'll be able to scrape the bottom up. You understand? Then you'll be able to put new oil in there, and it'll be fresher, and you'll be able to gather everything that you was trying to put out. But if you don't trim it, you're gonna be clustered. And it's another parable in this chapter talk about money. You have to be able to flip your funds.
yes,
Practical knowledge.
the scriptures just say, make ye friends with the mammon.
That's
What does that mean? That mean you love the cares of this world? You love money? What was the Lord saying? That we gotta love money? No, he said make you friends with it.
Yeah.
Meaning, hey, look, you may have to work with Edomites. You might have to make your money that way. That don't mean that you love them.
Do a 365 deal.
Yeah, you sell out. That don't mean you sell out. But look, you may have certain connections with certain Edomites or certain Ishmaelites, and that's how you make your money.
You think Cornelius and Daniel got in a position, and Joseph got in a position through being a loudmouth and saying, man, I don't like you Edomites. You think that's how they got in a position, even with Mordecai?
And that's crazy.
Come on now.
That's crazy because I'm reading Exodus right now, and Joseph, it was an abomination for Egyptians to eat with the Hebrews, but they still got along because guess what? They used that wisdom that they had. Look, I got to make my money. What Pharaoh do? He said, look, this is a wise servant. I'm gonna set him above everybody. So they was using that practical understanding. They didn't just cast away connections like, look, that's an Edomite or that's an Ishmaelite. But look, that might be the person that helped you make your money.
That's right. If your coworker isn't being verbally or physically abusive, there's no reason for you to get super bent out of shape at work. If you talk too much, brother, that's not enough for you to quit your job because your Edomite friend talk too, or your Edomite coworker talk too much, or because you don't like the way you listen to music. Brother, that's not enough. Stop quitting your job. Stop getting riled up. If he's not physically or verbally being abusive or wild, brother, you got to deal with it. Did you forget where you were? You're in captivity.
I was gonna make the example because I brought out a bunch of brothers. I was gonna say even Paul, when he got that Roman status, that
Yeah.
saved him in a bunch of times and whatnot. And he was the main teacher of many churches. So
That's right. That's a beautiful point. You know, being in a society, it doesn't hurt to know the laws of the land and knowing certain. And I'm gonna bring that out because I did a cold cut on it. That doesn't hurt at all. You can bring out Sirach 5:15.
it's the book of Sirach, chapter 5, verse 15, and it reads, "Be not ignorant of anything, in a great matter or a small."
Can you bring that out one more time, Papa Troy?
Book of Sirach, chapter 5, verse 15. "Be not ignorant of anything, in a great matter or a small."
Or a small. Don't be ignorant of anything. He understood the importance of being a Roman and the weight that it holds being a Roman when it comes to certain situations. Because, for an example, it was Roman law not to just persecute somebody straight up. Their persecution was a lot more lenient than those that are outside of Rome. And I'm gonna bring up the situation. What's that? Acts 22:25. These scholars sometimes know. Maybe not. You can bring out something.
Esau was a Roman.
Yeah, because it tells you something decent in the commentaries.
Oh yeah. Well, I can bring out an example too. Even Paul, when you read Romans 1, he was amongst a lot of wicked people. Even the same people that we amongst, you understand? And he taught a lot of wicked people. Right? Let's get 1 Corinthians 5 and verse 8.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 5, and verse 8.
And we got to get the context real quick. Basically, the context was in the church. You had a man sleeping with his mother, and they was mocking it. They was saying, "Look, that's funny and whatnot." They wasn't carrying it. They wasn't caring about it as a serious thing, a serious matter. And he had to get on them. You understand? Right? You got it.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 8. "Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. I wrote unto you in an epistle, not to company with fornicators, yet not altogether with the fornicators of this world, or with the covetous, or extortioners, or with idolaters."
So company is basically, when you go into that word company, it's your companion, somebody you eat bread with. So not everybody is supposed to be at your table. You understand? But guess what? Does that mean that because you don't keep company with everybody that you might not have to talk to everybody or have to deal with a lot of people? No, you still have to deal with a lot of nations, man. You have to deal with Elam at work. You have to deal with Ishmael at work. They might come up to you and be like, "You an Israelite, ain't you?" "I know you are." "What you gonna do?" "Yeah, I am." "You would go into slavery." "No." "Well, okay, yeah, I am."
And wise verses of Bach, I am who you say I am.
Yeah.
Or you can pull a little Yahushua in Luke the 23rd chapter.
Thou sayest.
And thou sayest. And you said it and keep it pushing. You don't gotta give your all and your life to Esau. You don't have to do that. It's telling you that's Sirach, the 33rd chapter. You don't want to give your life over to a man. You just feel like, okay, I am. You're right. Here are my fringes. Here's my Bible. You got me. I'm an Israelite. Brother, be cool, brother. You know, there's a right way to do everything.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's a little bit more on that, though.
Start sweating. Yeah, I am.
You kind of get shaky. This Jacob struggle.
Right. This must be Jacob Strong.
Right.
That's all.
They approached me. No. You gotta use wisdom, man. Even with Jacob's trouble, you gotta know how to operate in Jacob's trouble.
You can't eat anything. It's not a free-for-all.
Just because all hell breaks loose doesn't mean that you can go and break into Walmart too with the rioters.
Mm-hmm.
And you found amongst the rioters.
Stole some batteries. Batteries. Yeah. I got the PS5. Yeah.
Stealing TVs.
Yeah.
You putting Edomites in slavery and Jacob's trouble.
Damn.
All right, that's enough. All right, you got it.
Still 1 Corinthians 5, verse 11 again. But now I have written unto you not to keep company. If any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, with such a one, know not to eat. For what have I to do to judge them also that are without? Do you not ye judge them that are within? But them that are without, the Most High judges.
All right, so that's what Paul is saying. Like, our brothers and sisters that's within our circle, yeah, we got to hold them accountable. But a lot of people, they don't know about the truth. You understand? So you got to walk with wisdom, as my brother said. You got to walk with wisdom to them that are without. You understand? And Paul said that you must needs you go out the world.
Mm-hmm.
If you think that everybody gonna change because you change, that's not how it works. People change on the most high time, man. So you can't just sit here and rebuke your mother. You just rebelling on her, rebuking her, and you a wicked woman. You getting on her. Like, no, you can't be that way. You gotta. She's a babe. Like, she a baby compared to you. She don't understand. Even Yahweh Shah said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. A lot of people, they don't know what they do. So you got to use wisdom and how to operate. Look, mama, I'm an Israelite. If she asks you, I'm an Israelite. That don't mean I love you less. I still love you. You still my mother.
Yeah.
You understand?
It's,
I don't celebrate holidays. You understand? I celebrate. I do the right things to the Lord. I'm a good person. You got to show them. You got to, especially with women, you got to show them better than you tell them. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say you gotta show your lights. That goes to everybody. You gotta have your lights glowing. You have to have that righteous garment on, like it's in Job the 19th chapter. And even with this, just to land me back quickly, rebuke not an elder, right? But entreat him as a father. The same goes for your mother, right? You can't just see father, okay, it only applies to man. Oh, with wisdom, with understanding, you know this applies to your mother as well, right? But entreat him as a father and as a younger man, as brother. So if your mom's going off, I mean, that don't give you room to be an asshole. Excuse my French, that don't give you room to be an a-hole. You start cursing her out. Wow, she went off. I'm justified in my anger.
She used to whoop me when I was there wrong.
Yeah, so I whooped her. I had to show her who's boss. The Lord said, strike the scorner. So what, brother? And he taught my fingers to fight. I mean, you're not honoring your mother and your father. And tell you in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, grieve not thy father as long as he liveth. Was Moses grieving Japheth? It's like, you're not Japheth, Jethro? Man, I don't want to hear that. I got it. I can judge it.
You're a heathen.
Yeah, you a heathen. Aren't you going into slavery, boy? I wasn't saying all of that. And he kind of just bowed down his ear and said, okay, come. And he did as he was instructed. Because it tells you in Proverbs 4:1, I love to bring it out. I mean, a father will give instruction to his children. And that's what Jethro was doing towards Moses. He was his father-in-law. You got to do the same thing with your father-in-law on this earth. You got to be communicative with him. You want to have kind of talk to him here and there. Be wise and cordial with him.
Especially if they cordial with you.
Yeah.
And even with the ones that's not cordial, they'll get to be cordial with you when they start seeing that you're doing a good thing, you're doing the right thing. Because the Lord said he would make your enemies to be at peace with you. You understand? So they might be like, look, he an Israelite, but look, he ain't do nothing wrong. He take care of his children. He work. He take care of his wife, my daughter, and he's a good man. It is what it is. Now they cordial with you. But if you show them a reason not to be cordial with you, then they might not be cordial with you for a long time. You might have family problems now. You understand? But that's all using practical wisdom. You got a point.
You first?
What you at? I was going to bring out 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 21. For even hereunto were ye called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example, that ye shall follow his steps. And the reason why I brought this out, because it says also in 1 John chapter 2 and verse 6, that we must walk even as he walked. He still respected his parents. He still respected his brothers and sisters. And also he got on the Pharisees as well when it came to rebuking them. He didn't have that, I am mightier than thou spirit. He got on everybody, in just way, just balance. And he also understood the captivity he was in. So how much more we using the same practical knowledge and walk how he has walked in this situation that we're in today.
And that's not to say like, okay, that's my mother, that's my father. You said you gotta love your parents. That doesn't mean that, look, I love them so much that I put them over the Lord. You understand? You can't be that way. You understand? Your mother, like, you might not have to rail on her, but if she sitting here feeding your daughter pork, and you know what y'all believe in, you like, okay, you love your mother and your father. No, you can't apply that situation to that point. No. It's all right, mama. No, you can't be that way. You gotta rebuke and you gotta look, mama. I set the rules, but you gotta know how to go about setting the rules and setting the judgments. You understand?
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 3 and verse 12. My son, help thy father in his age, and grieve him not as long as he liveth.
Right, so the scripture tells like you don't want to grieve your parents. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to. This I tell you in Ephesians for the parents not to provoke the children, but it's the same way with us. A lot of times when Jake grew up, he grieved his pops. He tell you, come in at 10 o'clock, you want to stay out till 11 trying to break somebody's house with the so-called homies. Now you got to pick you up from the juvenile detention center. You grieving your father, just being unruly when that's not necessary. Even when you come to the truth, you still don't want to grieve your mama. You kind of walk in the kitchen, you see all the pork meat, and you set it on fire right in front of her. Like, brother, you ain't even tell her you was an Israelite yet, and that y'all not supposed to eat pork. You just doing that. Talking about I got the zeal of Phineas. Brother, no, brother. It's not how that works. And then also, that with not grieving your father, because the same thing happened with in Genesis 34 with Simeon and Levi. When you read later on in Genesis 49, he said, "Cursed be their anger." He said they grieved him because of what they did when they just straight overthrew the whole Shechem in them, just straight overthrew him off top. You know what I'm saying? Jacob said, "I wasn't feeling that for real." It's like you're walking out and say, it's how you go about it.
Yeah, he said, you make my name stinking amongst the nations.
Yeah, like, why you do all that? And he said, it's more them than us. You know what I'm saying? They kind of just overthrow us, man.
Yeah, they could have if they didn't execute it right.
They grieved Jacob. Man.
They grieved Jacob a lot. And guess what he did? I was just reading Genesis.
Reuben slept with his.
Yeah, he slept with. Hey, we don't got to say it. Read it.
Yeah,
but
man.
look, when Jacob, one thing I took from Genesis, when Jacob died as an old man, guess what he told his children to do? It was beautiful, man. He told them to still apologize to Joseph and what he did.
Yeah,
So that just showed you that what type of father that Jacob was and how much he cared for his children. They still, after he died, even though they was already cool, he told them apologize again. In case he didn't know. And they all shed tears and they all hug each other. But that show you, as a man, that's what you got to do. Use practical wisdom. When David was about to die, what he told Solomon? He told him, you got to be a man. I go the way of all the earth. So, yeah.
I just wanted to expound a little bit more on what I had previously brought out in 1 Peter 2 and 21 when it says, for even hereunto were ye called, because we know that many are called, few are chosen. And you don't know, none of us know if we're chosen until that last straw, that last day, right? And at the end of the day, when we're called, it tells you also in Ecclesiastes 3 and 18, the greater thou art, the more humble thyself. So that doesn't mean you just start to just run over, people at work, your family, so-called friends you used to have. Got to use that wisdom, And that's how you.
You can bring out Genesis 26 and 35. You said verse 33. 33.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 36, right? And verse 33, and it reads, and Bela died, and Jobab, the son of Zerah, and Basra reigned in his stead. 26.
26.
See, I asked 36 and you said yeah. It's the book of Genesis chapter 26 and verse 23, or 33, slide. And he called it Shabbat. Therefore the name of the city is Beersheba unto this day. And
26. Genesis chapter 26. I'll go to Genesis 26.
and 23.
You want
26.
You want 34? Where Esau I know?
Hold on, brothers. Genesis 26. I know what, but he said verse 31. Genesis 26 and 31.
It's the book of Genesis chapter 26 and verse 31. And they rose up betimes in the morning and sware one to another. And Isaac sent them away, and they departed from him in peace. And it came to pass the same day that Isaac's servants came and told him concerning the well which they had digged, and said unto him, We have found water. And he called it Shabbat. Therefore the name of the city is Beersheba unto this day.
Go ahead.
And Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judah, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and Bashemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, which were a grief of mine unto Isaac and to Rebekah.
So don't be like Esau and grieve your father and your mother. Don't be that guy. If your father or father-in-law or your parent, whoever it is, gives you wisdom, don't neglect it. Don't say I'm an Israelite and I know more than you. Don't say you're an Israelite and you know the precepts and you don't. That's folly.
And I just want to add to that real quick. Even if they grieve you, you can't recompense evil for evil, man. Don't grieve them. Take the higher route, Yeah, the higher road. You got it.
Tells you in Proverbs 15 and 1, the short answer turns away wrath.
You do Proverbs 22 and 17.
Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 17. Bow down thine ear and hear the words of the wise, and apply thy heart unto my knowledge.
I mean, if you want to find where the wise men are, you gotta read the Bible. Read the Bible, brother. Stop going to nasty ass pastors and TikTok for wisdom. Social influencers. Stop going to those men of the world. If you want wisdom, hey, jump in the scriptures.
That's right.
You know, get your sword wet and sharpen it. Right, I wanted to get the account of how Jacob dealt with Laban. Because Jacob, you know, not only is this an account of him showing a brother and an Israelite in the truth, being at work and kind of getting finessed, but it also shows him, you know, kind of using wisdom, subtlety, and it also shows him standing his ground.
And also handling parents, your in-laws.
Mm-hmm. Knowing how to handle the parent, the children-in-law.
In your household.
You can, it's a lot of accounts. We're not going to get the whole thing. We'll go here a little and there a little, like the scripture said. You can start at Genesis 29. Oh man, this stuff. So we want to get Genesis 30 first. Let's get Genesis 30. Go to you bring us on. I don't know what exact account I want first. You bring that on.
You talking about me?
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to count in that scenario. I was gonna bring out one. Let me get it.
Yeah. Kind of.
Should I get Genesis 30 and verse 20. 27. Or 25.
It's the book of Genesis chapter 30 and verse 25. And it came to pass when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said unto Laban, Send me away, that I may go to my own place and to my country. Give me my wives and my children, for whom I have served thee, and let me go, for thou knowest my service which I have done thee.
So Jacob, he did all his service that he was supposed to do. You understand? So he said, give me my wife. Any fool could have been like, look, I'm making money here. Let me stay here. Under another man's house. You can't be that way. You got to be a man and be like, look, I need to get my own. Right? Even the account of Abraham. So this was passed down. Even the account of Abraham, real quick. He wouldn't take a shoe latchet from the king. Genesis 14:23. So we're gonna hop to that, and then we're gonna hop back.
The book of Genesis, chapter 14, verse. We'll start at verse 22.
You can.
Verse 22. And Abram said unto the king of Sodom, I have lifted my hand unto Yahweh, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a three even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich.
Why would Abraham say that? Now any Jake would have been like, look, he added into my status. Let me take that money. Let me get that bag from him. He know that I'm great. Hey, the Lord is with me. Let me get that money. But guess what? People, they hold things over you. They hold things over your head to try to manipulate you. So that's what Abraham knew, not to take that money. So he won't say, look, you made me great. The Lord made me great. And that's a part of having integrity and having respect for yourself and honor, right? That's our forefathers had. They had honor. So go back to Genesis.
Book of Genesis, chapter 30, and verse.
Was that like 25?
Yep, 26, 27 now.
Oh.
And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thine eyes, tarry, for I have learned by experience that Yahweh hath blessed me for thy sake. And he said, appoint me thy wages, and I will give it.
That's an example that we just brought out. Letting your light shine, like the scripture say. He said, I had much experience how you was raising the cattle and you was multiplying the cattle.
Yeah.
How the Lord was blessing you while you was here with me. Terry, he knew that experience, so he saw that light. So that's why he said, look, Terry here a little more. But he wasn't genuine with it. He was only wanting him to tarry so he can get more and more money from Jacob. That's not in the right spirit. That's not loving your son-in-law, right? You got it.
Verse 29, and he said unto him, thou knowest that how have I served thee, and how thy cattle was with me. For it was little which thou hast before me, before I came to Laban, and it is now increased unto a multitude. And the Lord hath blessed thee since my coming. And now, when shall I provide for mine own house also?
Like what?
And now, when shall I provide for my own house also?
So our forefathers, they wanted to provide for their own households. Even though he was making money under Laban, he still wanted to do it his own thing. That's one of the accounts I wanted to bring up. I don't know what Yardan wanted to bring up though.
I got two more. Those were Yapa accounts. Those were beautiful accounts. Right, you can bring out Sirach 33:19.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 33, and verse 19, and it reads, give not thy son and wife, thy brother and friend, power over thee while thou livest, and give not thy goods to another, lest it repent thee, and thou entreat for the same again.
That's right. So, Jacob didn't want to fall into that situation. That's playing upon tables. You can bring out Genesis 29 and verse 18.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 29, and verse 18. And Jacob loved Rachel, and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel thy younger daughter. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee, than that I should give her unto another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had to her.
Right, and Laban, he's moving in a funny spirit. We already know that as we continue to read. Now, he could have been genuine at this point. Maybe he was. But nevertheless, you can continue.
Verse 21, and Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah his maid for a handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning it was told, behold, it was Leah that he had, and he said to Laban, what is this that thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve thee with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me.
Right, so Laban beguiled Jacob, and he broke the commandment. Because you're supposed to pay, you're supposed to pay your servant accordingly. But you continue.
Verse 26, and Laban said, it must not be done in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn.
Now, it's not going to say he's winging it, but he's winging it. He's winging it. You know that when you continue to read. He got finessed.
Why we agree to him working for Rachel and then say there's labor?
Right. So sometimes at work, they be trying to get over on you. And every blue moon, hey, this just an example. Some things you just got to deal with. You got to bite the bullet at work sometimes. Every blue moon. It sucks.
Yeah, you might feel humbled.
Yeah.
That's why you supposed to feel, because we in slavery, man.
Mm-hmm.
We're not supposed to be cracking the whip. You know what I'm saying?
You're a servant in this captivity.
Exactly.
But you got it.
Verse 27, fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also, for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years. And Jacob did so, and fulfilled her week. And he gave him Rachel his daughter to wife also.
And this is another good example, right? It didn't say Jacob complained. It didn't say Jacob whined. It didn't say Jacob just ran away. He dealt with it. Because there's going to be times we may be put in an uncomfortable situation. You got to deal with it. If your boss said, hey, work 5 more minutes, you might have to deal with it, Ak. You just might have to deal with it. You're going to lose your job for 5 minutes. Sometimes it's just life. Some things, as they say, it happens.
Yeah.
That's all right, the 40th chapter. Sometimes shit happens.
And then even if it get too out of hand, he telling you to do unnecessary stuff that's wild. You calculate how you want to. That's how I go about it. I calculate how much I done saved up from a job. That's another thing. You just have a job. Don't just have a job and not planning on doing something bigger. My pops always told me, job is just over broke. So you might have to work a job to get to where you're going. You might have to work a job 3 or 4 years to get to where you're going, to upgrade your status. But what I would say is, you might have to save up in order, if any situation happen. A situation like this, they keep telling you to do unnecessary stuff. Now you got money. If they fire you, then you got money. Just put away for a certain scenario like that. That's how I operate. I don't know if brothers do that, but I always do that.
Same. Hey, there's been times where I had to leave a job, but I don't leave a job until I know for certainty I get the new job.
Yeah.
And if I give a quick anecdote. A couple of years ago, I went to this job. I went to the interview, ended up getting it while I'm already working at this, current job. And they said, well, when can you start? I said, next week. And so I went to the last job, kind of worked it out, and smoothed it over. I said, well, look, I got to take some time apart. I got to take care of X, Y, and Z. Is there going to be a position if I come back? They said, yes, of course. And the reason why I said that is if the new job don't work out. You don't want to just up and leave a job for no reason. You always need a plan A, B, and C for security. Because you may get that new job, and they just tell you straight up, you got to work the Sabbath now. Now you can't go back to your old job because you cursed everybody out. So you got to use wisdom. That was 4 years ago. And I'm glad you mentioned that about saving up, because I got one more account. 2 more. You got it.
I was about to say too, even with your PTO, time you got, you can really put that in before you leave for real.
That's what I did with my last job. I put it in right before I left, and they was mad. But they had to deal with it. They said, you just did it? Just to leave? I said, yeah. What you mean? What you want from me? You thought I was going to waste those PTO hours? That's my hours. Mine. But bring up Sirach 31. Sirach chapter 30, verse 40. So Jacob did the exact same thing. He stored up his PTO. He stored up his money. We're going to read about it. We're not going to read the entire chapter, but we're just going to get to the point. We can just get to 40 down to 43.
Bring that out. You said Sirach what?
It's Genesis chapter 30, verse 41.
Come on.
You said it 40.
It's the book of Genesis chapter 30 and verse 40. And Jacob did separate the lambs, and set the faces of the flocks towards the range straight, and all the brown in the flock of Laban. And he put his own flocks by themselves, and put them not unto Laban's cattle.
Ooh, you know what? It's like you said verse 30.
30?
Yeah.
Verse 30. For it was a little while which thou hast before I
Verse
came.
30. Verse 28. I'm done.
Book of Genesis chapter 30 and verse 28. And he said, Appoint me thy wages, and I will give it. And he said unto him, Thou knowest how I have served thee, and how thy cattle was with me. But it was little which thou hadst before I came, and it is now increased unto a multitude. And the Lord hath blessed thee since my coming. And now when shall I provide for my own house also?
And I know we just read this, but I want to elaborate a little too. He said, yeah, since I came here, you got more than you really need. It's only right that I get a little bit of a piece of the pie, if you understand what I'm saying.
I just want to add to that, how you apply that to today. Like my old job, they saw that I was working hard. You might have to request a wage increase.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I've been working hard. You understand? I need to get paid more. And they see how much you put in, they're gonna give it to you. You know?
Like Kabash would say, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. You ain't going to get nothing if you don't say nothing. It say that in Sirach, the 22nd chapter. You don't want to be too bashful where it overthrows your life. But you continue to read.
Verse 31. And he said, What shall I give thee? And Jacob said, Thou shalt not give me anything. If thou wilt do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep thy flock. I will pass through all thy flock today, removing from thence all speckled and spotted cattle, and all the brown cattle among the sheep, and the spotted and speckled among the goats, and of such shall be my hire.
So you can jump down to verse 40. So that's going to be my hire. That'll be my work.
Verse 40. And Jacob did separate the lambs and set the faces of the flocks towards the ringstreaker, and all of the brown in the flock of Laban. And he put his own flocks by themselves, and put them not unto Laban's cattle. And it came to pass, whensoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Jacob laid the rods before the eyes of the cattle in the gutters, that they might conceive among the rods. But when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in. So the feebler were Laban's, and the strongest Jacob. And the man increased exceedingly, and had much cattle, and maidservants, and menservants, and camels, and asses.
So he got his. You know, you may have to do that at work. You may have to get yours.
Right.
You know, you may have to call, try to think of a situation at work where you can finesse. You know, it's a situation Jake may finesse.
Oh, that PTO, like y'all said,
PTO.
sick days, you can take sick days or something.
Yeah, still time.
You can still time. Like, we used to come in early, 30 minutes early. You understand? They told us we can too. But then, like, they saw everybody started doing it. They was like, nah, y'all getting too much money. Y'all coming in 30 minutes early.
You're on the clock, but you're not really working for real. You just there.
That's right.
That's what I do.
At my old job, I was scheduled from like 9 to 6. But when it's 6 o'clock, I'll be out in Troy or I don't know, God knows where, and just hang out. I'll hang out and get more money because they gotta pay us by the hour. And I drive back, and I wanted to sit in the parking lot, but I couldn't really do that at the time because it's always I gotta go out to a further city where nobody knows me, where nobody knows that van that I drive. I just hang out, I hang around, in righteousness, and I read the scriptures or whatever. And I drive back and I get some witnesses and say, hey, I'm stuck in Troy, stuck in traffic or whatever. I'm on my way back to the store, and the store's like an hour away. I'm just getting paid for everything.
They need to pay you more anyway, because they don't pay you enough, man.
Yeah.
And I had a Jake at my old job. He worked at another job, a moving company, and a lot of the prices he would cut short on they move to do side moves for them. So he saved up $10,000 that year.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how Jake hustled. That's how you gotta do it sometimes.
Hey, the children of the world are wiser than the children of light. We'll get that soon. But I want to wrap up with You can just get Genesis 31 and 7. That's the last point I want to bring out. Because this is an example of the Lord looking out for Jacob and Jacob finessing. You got to finesse at work. Go ahead.
This book of Genesis chapter 31 and verse 7. And your father had deceived me and changed my wages 10 times.
Damn. He changed my wages 10 times. That's off. That's oppressing. Now at that point, look, you gotta bust some moves. Somebody at work oppress you 10 times. That's a lot. We're gonna read what Jacob did. You got it.
But the Most High suffered him not to hurt me.
So although he was oppressed by his father-in-law, he still said, Lord, it's like the Lord suffered him not to hurt him. So he still had respect for him. He still had to love him. Because he's his brother. So, with that being said, you may deal with your father-in-law, and he dislike you, and he pressing you. You got to deal with it.
Yeah.
The same way that your brothers may hate you, you got to love them and bless them.
And another thing, the Lord see everything that we do. So once you carry yourself in a righteous manner, you stay in the spirit, you don't let that get you out the spirit. The Lord started jacking people up in your life. Mm-hmm. Like I saw that with my supervisor. He got mad because I was taking a few days off when I had my child and stuff. And then he just out of nowhere had took a whole week off, and they had got him for that. He almost lost his job. But look, that's what comes when you're doing the right thing.
It's saying, actually, when Job.
The Lord might put you in your supervisor spot, man.
That's right.
That's right.
Let me bring it out real quick. This Job 8 and 20.
Zechariah 20.
Behold, God will not cast away the perfect man, neither will he help the evildoers. So you got to remember the Lord's going to protect you. And so when you continue to read Genesis 31 on down, and he ended up dipping. Got out of Dodge. It tells you in verse 22, I'll read it. And it was told Laban on the third day that Jacob was fled, and he took his brethren with him and pursued after him 7 days. So Laban is crazy. He pursued after him for 7 days. It's 7 days' journey, and they overtook him in the Mount of Gilead. And God came to Laban the Syrian in a dream by night, and said unto him, take heed that thou speak not to Jacob either good or bad. And the Lord can make that happen. Your job kind of, hey, you need anything?
Yeah, not even.
Do you need an extra break?
Yeah.
I can do this for you. If you need it, just let me know.
Yeah.
And for all we know, he might have had a terrible dream.
Yeah.
The Lord could have came to you once by night, lead my faithful servant alone. Or thou shalt die by the sword. He starts shaking. What just happened?
Or he's seeing your name everywhere.
Yeah, he starts seeing your name. He starts seeing you walking on everywhere.
Yeah.
John, what does it mean? And then he see you at work. Hey, John.
He's scared of you now.
Yeah, now he's scared of you. That's what the Lord did with Pilate's wife. And she said, hey, leave this man alone.
Like Julian, how he was like, you messing with my son, I'm gonna be with you when you be in your dreams. I'm be in your
That's
dreams.
right. Yeah. He said, yeah, he did say that. I'm gonna be in your dreams. I'm gonna be everywhere. So that's like the Father is with us. He said, you mess with my faithful servant, touch not my anointed. I'm gonna be with you.
But once you get out the spirit and now you stoop down to their level and you start cussing them out, now the Lord ain't with you no more.
Yeah. You want to take vengeance upon yourself. You want to stir up his love.
Because you wasn't moving in practical knowledge. Man.
See that?
Practical in life situations. I just wanted that quick account since I brought it out. Matthew 27, might be verse 18.
They say common sense not always common.
That's right. People don't know how to make change of it. Bars. I believe that's Matthew chapter 27. You can get verse. Yeah, you said 18. You start 17.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 27, verse 17. Therefore, when they were gathered together, Pilate said unto them, whom will ye that I release unto you, Barabbas, or Yahushua, which is called Mashiach? For he knew that for envy they had delivered him. When he had sat down at the judgment seat, his wife said unto him, saying,
So like it real quick. So he knew that they delivered him because he was jealous. He knew it. He's an unrighteous judge. He could have said, hold up, this isn't fair. But he's still kind of just letting it happen. He's a bad boss. Go ahead.
Verse 19 again. And when he was set down on the judgment seat, his wife said unto him, saying, Had thou nothing to do with that just man? For I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. But the chief priests and elders persuaded the multitude that they should ask Barabbas and destroy Yahushua.
But
Then,
the point of the matter was just 19 chiefly. Well, how she said, for I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. So we've seen this twice. It happened more than once, to be honest, in scriptures, but just a second, the content we brought out. So the Lord can afflict and plague your boss or your co-workers, you know, and kind of just have them have favor upon you. I threw up a curse on my co-worker one day, you know, reasons you don't gotta worry about it, but it was well deserved. It was well deserved. I threw up a curse on him, and he popped his hip the same day. I said, all praises. Popped his hip the same day. He was like, oh! I was like, oh! Then I was like, oh! I was like, oh! All praises. Oh! I was like, you alright? I'm like, palm that straw on my head. You know, that happened the same day as happened like 2 months ago. Because he was oppressive. He was being oppressive that day. I threw up a curse and he popped his hip.
That's right.
And he was limping for 3 days straight, if I'm not mistaken. It was after 3 days or a week, professional.
that's good.
And you don't gotta tell them, look, I prayed for you to pop your hip.
Yeah.
You better stop messing with me.
Do it again. Oh,
Yeah, Jay got a boast.
man. And when I see him limping the next day, I'm like, you alright? You alright? Like this.
I hope
You
you
know.
better. Otherwise,
Yeah,
I
hope
hope
you
you
feel
worse.
better. Got my hands like this, hope you feel better.
Nice.
Nah. But you know, I went to the oven or one more.
And another thing, when you at your workplace, don't give them a reason to be getting on you. You understand? You give them the reason, then the Lord might not be with you.
You being a butthole at work.
You just being lazy. They tell you to do the work. They tell you to do this, and you doing it the other way. I'm doing my way.
Yeah, they said wear a uniform, you wear your fringes out. He said, I gotta keep the commandments. Numbers 15.
You gonna fire me? Oh well.
Yeah,
No,
he said the Lord got me. You kind of just, showing off your fringes.
y'all Edomites anyway.
Yeah, that's right. You don't want to be confident in a plain way, like Laban said. The Lord, that's pride. That's pride.
You want to bring it up when you come back?
Yeah.
Con, you can get that scripture too. Confident in a plain way. Yeah, 30, 32 and 21.
This book is Sirach, chapter 32 and verse 21. Be not confident in a plain way.
Con. So you don't want to be confident in you just keeping the commandments, you knowing that you're Israelite. No, you got to apply this wisdom. You understand? And there's another scripture on that. Get Sirach 3 and 17.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 33 and verse 17.
No, 3 and 17. It's like
3 and 17?
Come.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 3 and verse 17. It reads, My son, go on with thy business in meekness.
Go on with that what?
Go on with thy business in meekness.
No, you still stand on business, but you got to go about your business in meekness. You don't always got to be proud.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, it comes to a sense of pride with being an Israelite. Yeah, you happy about that. But look, the Lord, He's dealing with the humble. So it's more than that. All right, I got you.
So shalt thou be beloved of him that is approved.
So shalt thou be beloved of him that is approved. What does that mean? The credit place can approve you. Your job can approve you for a better position. That happened to me at my old job. Your father-in-law, he can approve you.
I was gonna say, people could be getting laid off and they can be like, you know what, this is a good worker. We're not gonna fire him.
He's not always in trouble. He's meek. He cares about his business. He come here on time. Look, now they're not gonna get rid of you because you got a good name.
But everybody else they get rid of.
You see that? And then sometimes you might just have to leave. Maybe that job is not for you, but you gotta at least try to keep a job because you don't want to, you know.
And also, working with people and being a meek person can get you other opportunities. You might be at at a job, and that person might have a side business, and they might be working, and they might see that you are good working, and you meek, and you humble, and you nice, and they might offer you another opportunity. Now you got another job.
What you had a point about?
Yeah, I appreciate Matthew 10:16.
I got a precept too. You can get that though.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 10 and verse 16, and it reads, Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves.
You want to break it down? Oh yeah. So the Lord, He sent us out as sheep, man, in the midst of wolves. So we got to be harmless as a dove. A dove ain't known for being a scavenger or a watcher.
Right.
Right? So that's how we got to be. But we still got to be wise as a serpent. Sometimes you got to know what your boss thinking. Don't just think that, okay, I come here every day, that it's going to be all right, you know. Even with your rib and how you handle your household situations. I'll get away with this. She ain't going to, you know, say nothing about this. No, you can't carry yourself that way. I want to get one more scripture though. Proverbs 22 and 29.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 29. See thou a man diligent in his business, he shall stand before kings, he shall not stand before mean men.
Right, so you got to be a diligent servant. Because guess what? Not only diligent as a servant, but diligent in business. And you're going to stand, you're going to get high regarded of the king. Who is the king? The Lord. But it might be your job. Or it might be that credit union, and they helping you. You know, or it might be somebody that's in status, an official. Because you got that good name. You're a diligent person. That's how Paul was. They were like, okay, Paul is before us. He didn't really have no situations where he did something wrong. He was a Roman citizen, you know.
That's right.
So now he's not before me, man. Now they gotta approach you a different way. You understand?
So Paul was standing on business.
Yeah, Paul standing on. He stood on business.
He
He
did
didn't
it.
have to work, but he still worked. He didn't have to, but he still did it. For an example, he didn't have to do a lot of stuff, but the Lord put it in his heart to care for the churches daily,
Right.
and he cried daily for the churches.
You know, and that's exactly why I was bringing up this camel, because the camel is a very humble animal, very humble. You know, it's gonna lash out a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's pretty docile. It's not gonna bite the hell out of you. It's a chill animal, and for a camel to get have burdens placed upon him, he literally bows down. He accepts it, and that's how you have to be in this truth, right? The Lord may place a burden upon you. You have to walk with it. And camels, they walk miles. They do a lot of walking. Matter of fact.
But what's the good things about a camel? They carry tons of water. Tons of water.
That's right. You see, I had it up here earlier. Dang, I lost it. That's okay. But yeah, camels are very humble. They say, though these desert-dwelling creatures are widely known for their ill temper, camels have been long used for a symbol of humility in various medieval sculptures and art. Camels were used to represent their humble nature and also their willingness to serve and bear someone else's burdens. I can't learn from animals, what can I learn from them? You can learn this, brother. There's nothing wrong with just in your free time looking up the traits or qualities of a beaver or what any animal. Well, hold up, they're not clean. So what? Use wisdom, brother. Get your life together. Get your mind right. You can learn something from a duck. You can learn something from a squirrel. You can learn something from a worm. Just, you know.
And everybody want to be that lion.
Arr.
I'm mighty. But the thing about a lion, the lion don't want to fight unless it's a threat. So it eliminates a threat. You understand? A lion deals with a lot.
They do.
A lion have a lot of women clawing at him. And they might be irritating. He just go about like a king. Like, yeah, let's walk about it. He don't get out the spirit for his woman. Unless he's an effeminate lion. You know, you don't want to be an effeminate lion.
Yeah, now you're a lioness.
Yeah.
You went from a lion to a lioness.
And the thing about a lion, a lot of brothers, they forget, that's just a big house cat, man.
That's what it is.
It's a cat.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a dog. It's not an elephant. It's a cat. It's a big cat. It purrs. You know. But, you know, the lion is still mighty, but it's just showing you that you can learn a lot from an animal. It's an animal at the end of the day.
Yeah. There was a video of a lion. He was laying down, and his wife kind of walked. No, this other woman walked past. You know, it's not a woman, but this other little lioness walked past, and his wife ended up coming, and he kind of looked away, or I think he's already looking away. But the point of the matter is always something you can learn from animals. Literally.
Yeah.
You don't gotta, and the brother brought it out earlier, you don't gotta look at every woman. You don't have to. It's not even wise.
I was gonna say, it was a scenario that I saw that they was comparing the lion couple to the monkey couple. So the monkey couple, they would play with each other. They looked very cheerful and whatnot. They looked like they was very like loving and romantic. But with the lion couple, the lioness was kind of like stood behind. She was kind of like looking like kind of mean, like a kind of upset or whatnot. And they was examining why was it like that. But then when the threat came to the monkey couple, the male of the monkey got out of there, just ran. But when the threat addressed the lion couple, the woman kind of stood up, you know, and faced the threat. You understand? So that's a scenario that you can see with animals. You know, a relationship, it might not look like so romantic, but it's serious. They stand on business. And then you got a lot of fools that fall in love, and they like that monkey couple.
Yeah. They that monkey couple.
And when they all lovey-dovey, but they're not standing on business. So when anything come to break them up, it's easy to be broken up. You know. So you got it.
With that, you can go to Luke chapter 16 and 1.
The book of Luke chapter 16 and verse 1. And he said also unto his disciples, there was a certain rich man which had a steward, and the same was accused unto him, that he had wasted his goods. And he called him and said unto him, how is it that I hear this of thee? Give an account of thy stewardship, for thou mayest be no longer steward.
And a steward is a heavy position. It's almost like an inventory manager in a way. Let's pull up the steward. They're a fiscal agent.
Like a supervisor.
That's a high position to be a steward.
Or a manager.
An employee on ship, airplane, or bus who manages provisioning of food and attends passengers. But in this case, your overseer who manages the provision of food and or water and or other commodities. Right? And that's exactly what this guy's position is in the scriptures. So you continue.
Verse 3. Then the steward said within himself, what shall I do?
Like, oh, what am I going to do? You may find yourself at a job where you may have slipped up. It's bound to happen. You may slip up. Go ahead.
For the Lord taketh away from me my stewardship.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot dig to beg, I am ashamed.
That's right. You might be thinking about these things. I don't know. Money. Ew. Go ahead.
I am resolved what to do, that when I am put out of stewardship, they may receive me into their houses. So he called every one of his lord's debtors unto him, and said unto the first, how much owest thou unto my lord?
So he went to all these debtors. He has a plan in action. He has a plan A, B, and C. Brothers, start having a plan.
God.
Go ahead.
And he said, 100 measures of oil. And he said unto him, Take thy bill, and sit down quickly, and write 50. Then said he to another, How much owest thou? And he said, 100 measures of wheat. And he said unto him, Take thy bill, and write 80. And the Lord commended the unjust steward, because he had done wisely. For the children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of light.
Does anybody know what he benefited off of doing that? Like, why did he benefit off of that? Or what did he benefit from doing that? The unjust servant. Nobody know?
Oh, he kept a good report. Or report. Yeah.
Report with who?
Those debtors that he owed.
The people
What's
that's
the
not
point of it though? Why would he keep a good rapport with the debtors?
So he can.
So he can come back to
sustain
him.
his life.
Yeah.
So he can sustain his life.
and also
Yeah.
After
they would
losing
have
that
to
steward.
they would have to pay his lord anyway, so
That's right.
he handle those affairs.
So now, even if he gets fired, hey, he got another place to go to.
Yeah.
He has 3 people that he can go to.
Plan B.
Yeah, he got a plan B to be a steward again.
Created a good name.
He created himself a good name,
Contingency plan.
a contingency plan. And that's what you got to do at work. That's why wherever you work, that's why it's good to show thyself friendly so you may know who you're working with. You may work with somebody whose brother's a millionaire. You never know. There's nothing wrong with being, amicable at work. I won't say friendly, but I'll say amicable. Right? I'll pull up the definition.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, because it is a difference. Right? It is peaceable. There you go. That's peaceable. You want to be peaceable with brothers. Friendly, you kind of want to go places after work, go to the bar, throw some back. I don't know, go to throwing darts. You don't got to do all of that. Nobody's saying you have to be friends with them, but you have to be amicable. You have to be peaceable with them. Right? I know somebody at my job, his brother, just know he got a good position or whatever. And he helped brothers out. So it's nothing, I wouldn't have known that if I wasn't amicable. So you can't be that Mr. Tough brew all day at work. Don't talk to me. I'm meditating upon precepts.
Y'all Negroes
Yeah,
need
y'all Negroes what?
y'all Negroes need to repent.
Y'all Negroes need to repent. I'm a Hebrew.
Boy,
Boy, where your French is at?
become
See,
a man.
what's Deuteronomy 28:16 say? Man, I don't need y'all help. Don't be that guy. So that's practical knowledge in the scriptures. You have to know how to move in this walk. And I'll close out with 1 Corinthians 9:24 again.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 24. Know ye not that they which run in the race run all, but one receiveth the prize. So run that ye may obtain.
So what?
So run that ye may obtain.
You gotta run so that you may obtain. With that, we're gonna bid Israel Shalom. I will rise that Israel may edify through the spirit and power. And how about you shine? Kwam Yisrael.
Kwam Yisrael. Kwam Yisrael. Kwam Yisrael.